The latest Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition hit the newsstands this week. Danielle Harrington is on the cover, looking good. But a Twitter fight broke out over one of the photos. Here's gymnast Aly Raisman with "Me Too" phrases all over her naked body. Britt McHenry asks this: why does a woman have to pose nude to feel empowered? Isn't it more empowering to keep your clothes on, go into an office or classroom like everybody else, and excel? Swimsuit desperately wanting to compete with IG models, Instagram models, with gimmicks. Now, Paige Spiranac, a pro golfer and one of the women in the issue, here she is, took offense to her comments, writing, "Different women feel empowered in different ways, and it's not right to tell someone what they can and cannot do. It's more about the person you are and not the clothes you decide or not decide to wear. My body, my choice." Now, that went on for a while, and Britt joins me now along with former NFL cheerleader and attorney Aly Compagno. And Britt, Paige hits you back with another tweet at the very end and says, "Thanks, I will," and just flashing a lot of skin over here, throwing it right back in your face.
Yeah.
There it is. So what's the problem you have? Are you guys cool now or not?
Mildly. Well, Jesse, it's funny. I actually got a lot of tweets from gentlemen on that site saying, "Britt, you got more nudes than we did Valentine's Day week." My whole thing, I didn't even know Paige was in the magazine. She's a former golfer. She's a beautiful woman, and I told her that. And every woman watching this, I can acknowledge you have the right to feel sexy, dress the way you want, and if you want to take all your clothes off, that's your prerogative. The issue here that I have is that Sports Illustrated decided to capitalize on the Me Too movement in the guise of actually caring about it. Now, this is still a very profitable part of Sports Illustrated. It amounts to 10% of the magazine's revenue, just one magazine, for the whole year. So they really want to cash in on that. And for me, Aly Raisman, the gymnast who stood in front of the pervert Larry Nassar, stood up for women, strong, empowered, dressed professionally. That did more for women's rights than getting naked. And she didn't have to get naked to do it. So that was my point.
So
and if we want to be taken seriously,
a problem with using the Me Too movement as a way to discuss sexual boundaries and women's empowerment, when you combine that with taking off all your clothes. Now, Emily, do you see a problem with, getting completely naked or just stripping down to a bikini in order to sell the Me Too movement, or in order to just, feel empowered as a woman?
Right. Well, I feel a bit differently in that, being empowered means being able to make a choice or a decision autonomously, right? It's an independent choice, free of fears or pressure. So taking Aly Raisman then, for example, for years she was told exactly what to do with her body by Larry Nassar and Team USA as she was being subjected to rampant sexual abuse. So her decision now to participate in Sports Illustrated campaign and take that photographs, that's absolutely empowering because finally it's coming from an autonomous place and it's entirely on her own. Now, as you stated earlier, I was an NFL cheerleader for many years, right? I was captain, toured around the world, visited the troops in Kuwait and Iraq. All the while, I was a practicing attorney. And my swimsuit photographs, they graced the cover of our calendar, swimsuit, Sports Illustrated online, Maxim.com. I was the center, all of this stuff. And it was crazy to me, the 1 out of 100 people who would come up and make some type of blanket generality statement to me about my position as a role model or lack thereof in their eyes. And I found it so intellectually lazy, frankly, that
Britt,
someone would make that type of snap judgment or global
Emily is saying,
judgment
Britt, is
based on that.
As a woman or as a professional woman with a great legal career, it's her decision to take her clothes off or to wear a bikini, and that's her decision. That doesn't make her as a woman kind of less, have less integrity.
I think we philosophically disagree then because, personally, I've made an effort to not have anything depicted in a bikini or such overtly sexual photos on my social media pages, because I know that I have to go into the workplace the next day. And if I want to be taken seriously, just as a man would want to be taken seriously, I could say this about men. If, Chris Hemsworth, the actor that's very good looking for Thor, if he's naked with words on his pelvic bone, I'm not going to be thinking about equality. It's a visual means, and I'm going to say, hey, it looks great.
That's why I don't like to put a lot of pictures of me in a bathing suit on social media, because I just think it takes away from my intellect, and I really want people to respect that. Now, Emily, do you see what Britt is saying here? Is that you want to be able to walk into a courtroom as an attorney and not have naked photos in your past floating around where people on the other side, a defense attorney or a prosecutor, might, with a little wink and a nod and take you less seriously and maybe joke, and that diminishes your credibility. Do you see that point?
Of course, I absolutely understand the point. And just to be clear, there are no naked photographs of me, participating in the swimsuit campaign, and the NFL cheerleading team is a standard practice that all the teams do. So that aside, of course, I understand the point. I do think that there's the larger conversation here is the fact that one's character can be impugned numerous ways. But if a woman chooses to pose discreetly or sans clothes, and that is her personal choice to do so, and she feels empowered by owning what she does with her body and owning the message she sends, because that's her choice to do so, then to me that point remains.
Okay.
And the whole point about the interpretation being construed differently,
sure,
that's exactly the point, right? But that's separate from the original issue, which is her sense of empowerment and her choice to do so.
And I want to make it clear to the audience that we did invite Paige on the show to be fair and balanced and debate Britt, but she chickened out. No, I'm just kidding. She didn't. She just said she didn't want to do it. I don't know why, but I just wanted to make sure everybody knows. Guys, I got to run.
Okay.
But thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Up next, ladies diamond and silk on the controversial Obama portrait.